I always loved soccer because I'm very competitive. It was something that I felt like I was good at, which I think people do like to do what they feel like they're good at. It was also a great way to stay in shape. It was a great way to make friends. That was my time after school, that I'd spend time with my friends. I'm not a runner, but playing soccer didn't feel like I was running, but I was able to stay in shape because I had a sport that I loved.
When she was turning 5 and starting kindergarten is when she started playing soccer. Being a soccer mom was very busy at our house. Not only did we have Sabrina, but we had 3 other children, and eventually all 4 of them were playing soccer. Sabrina was our only one that kept playing soccer all the way through high school.
My junior year, I was in super good shape. I had worked so hard to get to where I was. I felt like I was just killing it, like just doing awesome. In the very last game of the season, my junior year, so it was a state tournament, I just remember playing as hard as I could, and I worked so hard, and my whole team worked so hard. There was a penalty kick. The girl on the other team, who is known for being able to kick so hard, like she should have been a football kicker, she's incredible. And me and another friend set up what we would call a wall. And I remember looking at my friend, and we'd like linked arms and we were like jumping, you know, to try and distract the kicker. And I remember looking at her and saying, "Ready to take one in the face?" Had this never happened, maybe I would have just been in great shape forever, and I would have played soccer in college. The junior year ended in November, so it was cold outside, so I started running on the treadmill. I'd ride the indoor exercise bike. Like, I really just wanted to do whatever I could so that I had the best senior season ever. It was between my junior year and senior year that I started having issues. So I remember going to our athletic trainer. I remember he had me like take a little bit of time off from my running and training off season.
It was just mainly at the bottom of her feet, so the obvious first place for us to go was to a podiatrist, and he said that he thought that she had plantar fasciitis and that she needed really good shoes. Her feet really didn't improve, and so we went back to the podiatrist. He took x-rays, he looked at an MRI to see the tissue as well as the bones in her feet, and couldn't find anything wrong.
Your plantar fascia is on the bottom of your foot, so like it runs to each of your toes, and so it was just really tight. And so he gave me some exercises I could do at home. The exercises I was doing still, I wasn't seeing improvement.
When we had explored all the doctors in New Mexico as well as even Colorado, we ended up in Utah at the Primary Children's Hospital. We saw a neurologist and a rheumatologist there, and they thought she might have what was called complex regional pain syndrome. And so they put casts on both of her feet to try to retrain her brain of what pain really was, because nobody could find anything physically wrong with her feet.
That's definitely when it was the worst, is a couple months in, when I started to not get answers. Mentally, that was exhausting, but also physically. I was in a lot of pain all day, every day, and that was really challenging.
At this point, it had been 4 years since she started having the pain in her feet, and we didn't know what it was. We invited a couple families over for Sunday dinner, and 2 of the ladies at dinner said that they had used a chiropractor up in Park City named Dr. Nielsen. I talked to Sabrina because she was having such a hard time that she didn't want to go to see any more doctors, and I said, "Sabrina, this might be it. Let's give it one more chance." And so reluctantly, she agreed to go to Park City to see Dr. Nielsen.
He looked at my timeline of, you know, when I started having pain, and he went to the very beginning. Rather than looking at me as just a bunch of symptoms, he backed up to where it all began. Right then, the girl kicked one right in my face, and she hit me so hard. I just like immediately went back. Since it was the last game and we lost, that was it. I never did go to the trainer. I never did. I figured, oh, I probably did have a concussion. He's like, I think that was it. I think that's where everything changed. Getting hit in the head and going backwards causes your toes to curl to try and like hold you to the ground, you know, so you don't fall backwards. And in that moment, the plantar fascia was tightened because I had tried to cling forward to not fall backwards. But in that exact moment, I got a concussion, which was diagnosed as a traumatic brain injury. And my brain was a broken record. It was stuck in that moment where I was clinging. And so my brain did feel like I had plantar fasciitis. It did feel like my feet hurt. It did feel all these things because that's where my brain was stuck. From there, he was able to treat me as a patient who had a traumatic brain injury and lived with an untreated concussion for years.
And this one weekday she called me and she said, this week has been so long. I've been working 10-hour days and 12-hour days. And I hated even asking because her feet were a very tender issue. But I said, hey, how are your feet doing with all this time on your feet? And she was quiet for a minute and she said, Mom, I don't even feel my feet.
I think we have hard things in life to help us become better people. And this experience, it started when I was 16. It forced me to grow up a little bit faster. It forced me to accept some hard truths about life, that it's not fair and it's not easy. And because of that experience, because of having such low lows, I'm able to now experience so many good things and I'm able to be happy.